Right, now we're back again, and what we're going to be doing this time is going down the series there. I'm going to be looking at COVID-19, coronavirus, and or COVID-19, which is 2019, so called because it was done or discovered or invented or involved or created last year. So I'll just tick that one up there. This is what we're looking at now. What is it? From the research that I have done online, and there's lots and lots of research, there's also a lot of information about people who don't know what they're talking about, as opposed to those who do. How do you weigh that up? Well, if you look at enough of it, and you see the specifics that certain people with lots of degrees after their name, and don't try and push a point, will talk about it. But to talk about the basics, and I have some knowledge in the background because of my last video clip, I talked about being involved in the ambulance side of life, so I have to learn and did learn a lot about the body and the functioning of it. So I've got a fair respect of what goes on, but I still had to learn more. Well, what we have inside the standard cell of a body, here's a cell. Now inside that cell you have a whole variety of stuff. It's almost like a city that does a lot of work inside there. Your DNA is inside there, for example, and things like my little brain cell here, neuron cell, what you've got is information coming in to a neuron cell at about 2,000 pieces of information per second, being dealt with and said yes and no, yes and no, yes and no to things, and it sends the information down here, which is an electrical cord. It's called the axon. It's part of what sends information out, like on a standard telephone when you're holding the telephone speaking receiver here, the handle, and it goes down the wire and out into the world. This is the wire coming out, and it's got construction on top of this. These are, I often call them toilet rolls. They're actually called myelin. They are a wrap, like a toilet roll, wrapped. There's about 300 wraps on this, made of a sort of a fatty material. And it's got these cells on top of it, which are called shield cells, and they are ones that govern what's happening here, and these are attached to a mass of other information carrying systems, which I won't go into. They're called gluons, or glions I should say, and other nerve cells where they all come together. However, information comes through and goes out to other cells, and then it starts to put information together so that you can operate. It's really complex, but something else I teach in the systems that I do when I'm doing the other formal work that I'm governed in helping people and the human engineering of these areas here. Now the interesting thing to know about this is people get Alzheimer's and they get Parkinson's disease and all sorts when these things break down. There's about 250 of these per length, not the 5 I've got here. And each one of them acts like a balloon being blown up and then let go again, and blown up and let go again as the information passes down here, starting and stopping all the way. As it starts and stops all the way, these things expand and contract, not by swelling, but by an electromotive force. As you pass electricity down a conductor, you create a magnetic field. Now I'm going to show you something about how that works in a moment. As the electrical current comes down here, that swells up like an invisible balloon, and then as it passes through to the next one, it collapses, and it creates it amplifies and speeds up the information going down there. So information coming down here is traveling at about 640 miles per hour, or about 8 or 900 odd kilometers per hour. It's very quick, and this is going on all the time in your body. So these are really important, and they're inside the cells of your body. I have another little diagram here that I use when I'm talking about this. Your whole body is a mass of nerve cells, and all of these little sparkle things inside the brain here, as I've got it portrayed, and your base brain and your limbic system, which reverts to your emotional system. When you trigger this triggers off chemistry in the body, which makes you feel like running, fighting, loving, happy, sad, stress. Now I've mentioned stress up here, which I'll cover in a moment. And if you have any toxins in the body, anything that disturbs the harmony of cells, they produce a mess, like a mucus. And in goes your cells, in go things called exons, exosomes I should say, and they clean out the rubbish and take it away, and you'll either blow it out of your nose, express it from the mouth, but it's like mucus, it's pus per se. Pus when you've got a wound and you've got all the goop coming out, it's the same thing. So having studied this, the biggest nervous system that you have in your body outside of the brain area is your intestinal tract. This is why you have gut feels about things. You know, I don't feel good, or I do feel good about somebody. It's called vibes, or even woman's intuition, but we all have it, men and women. So the brain sends information through the body, the gut feels it. You should listen to your gut because it speaks to you in feelings. And if you listen to the feelings, they're telling you the truth. So whether this is saying, oh, it's okay, I can go and do that, and this saying, I don't feel comfortable about it, listen to this. It's telling you the truth. This can fabricate lies to yourself. So getting into that is what I teach again in other areas, and it's not for now. But COVID-19. Okay, coronavirus encompasses all influenza, flu, cold, or expulsions from the body of a mucus discharge based on cells cleaning themselves. And they're doing it all the time. COVID-19 was the one specifically called that for this particular virus. But it's interesting that I have not yet found any information where it has been extrapolated from, all the gunk that's in there, all of the genetic material here, which is everything that's in the body that comes out as waste. It's genetic material, it's waste material. It's like looking at somebody's vomit, or sputum in other words. Separating it out and seeing where the bug is, identifying it. All we know is that it's mixed up, and without going into more detail, you've got DNA in your body, RNA, and this particular culprit here, as it were, selects parts of information inside a brain cell and inside the cell area and outside the cell area, proteins. And they bring those proteins in, which are like building blocks in the wall, and they can make patterns like mosaics, but they make information. And they change the physical body's form to adapt to the outside environment. And I'll give you a little example that I use. How big were the Knights of the Round Table, those soldiers that back there? They were men in armour. How big were they? Oh, about this big. How do I know about that big? Because all of their suits of armour are tiny. So people have literally grown bigger and bigger and bigger over time. This is the changing of the structure inside the cell, and this is what happens when RNA gets in and starts to alter old DNA to new RNA, new DNA strands thereafter. But you've always got a history, you never ever get rid of that. So we can go back in time and find out where your DNA comes from, you know, where we're all, a lot of the earth matter, plants as well, and animals have similar DNA characteristics. But our RNA changes it in our structure for our benefit. So we have these natural systems in the body. What this thing does is it goes in as a virus, as we call it. Now a virus, according to the serious people that I've studied, they call a virus the same thing as also called exosomes. So exosomes, virus and exosomes. Here we have a cell. It's getting attacked by toxins that can be created from stress, being under stress, money stress, emotional stress, asthma, cancer, having a cold, just a common cold or an influenza, disease or bacteria that's coming in from the outside, an injury, a broken bone in your body, a scratch or a cut, or poisons, and anything else that can cause stress on the body in any form. In the cells, these things here, called exosomes, pop outside the cell. Information is told, get out and fight. And these things come out there, and they're covered, the best way I can describe it, like Velcro. When you stick Velcro together, you've got to rip it apart. Well, all of these bugs floating around in the body here that are attacking the cells, they want to get in, and if they get in, they'll kill the cell. So they send out their army of these exosomes. And they capture these toxins, and then they take those toxins up here to the immune system. And the immune system has this goop. It's like a soap. It's sticky, it's slimy. and they take the information into this, or the information, these bugs into that, and that then takes it to exit places like the lungs, where it's coughed out. And so therefore people get pneumonia, they get colds, they get phlegm coming out. It's the body trying to get rid of the waste out of there. You don't get a cold in the lungs, the whole body is covered in it inside. And the body's pulling all this rubbish out, pulls it up into the lungs, out through your nose, spit it out, you cough it out, you sneeze it out, and that's the dead material coming out. Now, from what I've understood, and I'm not a GP or a specialist in this field, but from what I've understood what the specialists are saying, so I'm just saying, oh, I watched this movie, it was all about that. I listened to these specialists and they all say the same thing. What comes out is dead material. It cannot hurt you. It's dead. Unless it is a live bacteria or somebody gives you an injection and pushes it into your tissues, now the body's going to have a problem with it. I don't, personally, it's my personal decision, I don't get flu injections. I've never wanted one. My head and gut down here especially says don't touch it. Understanding as I do in the technical field that you've got aluminium and other things inside that fluid that you can't see, you're not told about, that could in fact put toxins into your body that can do other things that I'll cover later when I get into conspiracy type theories or exposure. So not for now. This is what happens. So the bugs in red come in, the inside warriors, they get out and they fight outside the walls of the cell. They grab these nasty little brats and they take them up into the immune system, the white blood cells, and what happens is they just up they go through the blood system, out through your lung, and you cough it out or whatever. That's what a coronavirus is. It encompasses a lot, all of these. Covid-19 is what that is, although I have not yet found an identification for it, not one. In fact, they have a thing called the gold test. The gold test is not achieved or done with this. And therefore, I have to say that I am like this with this stuff here. Really? What is it? Really? Where did it come from? Why is something that is, if the seasonal influenza, SI, seasonal influenza, has a percentage every year that's the same. This year, the seasonal influenza amount has gone down and this thing here has come up. But it's come up to about 0.02%, I think, whereas this thing down here is about 1.8%, and it's balanced or imbalanced. So in other words, this thing is doing no harm, but it shut the world down. When you shut the world down because of something that we don't know about, that people talk about, we instill something else. I'll put this other word up here, it's called fear. Now the thing about the word fear is it causes stress. Stress causes toxins. Toxins come up and go into the immune system, which come out, and if they go to check you and swab up your nose and they pull out, said yes, here we have this genetic material here, this gunk coming out, dead genetic material, that mucus stuff, and we call it a coronavirus. So you must have COVID-19. Well, I don't have to say much to it, but that's what I believe about 219. Oh, here's some more in here. Oh, there it is again. I'm going against it because it's not been proven to me. I have a technical background and I'm not happy with that. So let's go down here a bit more. I'm not biased, I'm just telling you how it is. How many people have been hurt by this so-called coronavirus? How many? Millions. Millions. And the economy in the world has crashed because of something that has almost no significance. And I'll get down to other matters that relate to that soon. Let's get on with the next video here, which will be about 5G and EMF waves, and see how we talk with that. Don't go away now, or I'll try and get this video up online as soon as possible. petervaughan.net, or you can get hold of me at peter@111webnet.com. Email me and I can get it from there. So peter@111webnet.com. Thanks for watching for this time. This one might have been a bit long, sorry about that. Talk soon.